Happy Friday, how are you doing? Welcome to my channel, Heidi's Corner, with me, Heidi, and of course, my regular studio hosts are here with me. Of course, we have Stefan. Say hello to Stefan. And we have, of course, then we have Bertil. Say hey. Say hello to Bertil. Bertil is my resident Moomin forefather. We actually took him out the other day. I actually provided pictures on Monday. Okay, so as I said on Monday, Friday facts will be replaced, and they will be replaced by history with Heidi. Now, today, remembering Alan Turing. Alan Matheson Turing, officer of the British Empire, Fellow of the Royal Society, born 23rd of June 1912. Why is he so important? He is very important in many ways, not just because he suffered due to anti-gay or homophobic legislation in place at that time, but he was a significant scientist. He was a genius. He worked in the fields of mathematics, physics, mathematical biology, computer, and what is now known computer science, logics, cryptanalysis, philosophy, and as I said, theoretical biology. And he was in fundamental. He was in key position in cracking the German Enigma code during World War II, and thus many have said he shortened the duration of the Second World War by up to between 2 to 4 years, and saved up to 17 to 20 million lives. That is a lot. However, why is this man of such how shall I put this, potency, baby, or such grandeur? Why is he here on my channel? In 1952, at the age of 39, Alan Turing was prosecuted for homosexual acts, which was due to the Labuschagne Amendment of 1885, which mandated what was then called gross indecency to be a criminal offense in the United Kingdom. He was given an option, a chemical castration, which included massive doses of estrogen, as I understand it, and then prison. This chemical castration then rendered him impotent, and, for example, as a side effect, had breast growth due to the estrogen. Yes, and why is he in computing? What, in addition to, for those who do not know, he was could be called the father of modern computers and computer science. What became known as a Turing machine, which is in many ways essentially the first general purpose computer, which is quite a big deal. We need computers for almost everything these days, and yeah, the when it comes to his personal life, he tried out to live out this heteronormative life that was essentially forced upon everyone at that time, and in many places even today. However, during in 1941 he proposed marriage to an HUT8 colleague, Joan Clark, who has since then, decades after, spoken out on television in a television program about his time being engaged to Turing. But Joan Clark was as I said, fellow mathematician and cryptanalyst, and but it was short-lived because how he did admit his homosexuality to Joan Clark, but eventually Turing decided not to marry her. And even though he is considered to be the father of modern computers, there are many more things he contributed to science, and there has been a number of things in science named after him. You can find these in everyday compute. For example, computers nowadays, the NVIDIA microarchitecture that was used in the RTX 2000 series is Turing architecture. I'm running my PC here on my desk that I built myself, has a 2000 series RTX GPU, and what would be more fitting that I am making a video about the man after whom this chipset or microarchitecture was named. As I said, in 1952, Alan Turing he started a relationship with a 19-year-old young man named Arnold Murray, and shortly before Christmas, this would have been in the previous 1951. So he met up with Murray, asked him for lunch, and there we go. And yet on January 23rd, Turing's house was burglary, and Murray told Turing that he and the burglar were acquainted, but had nothing to do with the actual burglary. Of course, Turing reported the crime to police. What were the police most interested in when they came in to investigate Mr. Turing's apartment, which had been a victim to burglary? He during this procedure, Alan Turing acknowledged his sexual relationship with Mary, and since those kinds of acts were considered to be criminal, and so both men were taken into custody, charged with quote-unquote public gross indecency after the Section 11 of the Criminal Law Amendment Act of 1885, and initial proceedings were the following month, during which Turing's solicitor tried, do what he could. And so he, as I said, he chose the chemical castration, which was acted upon actually back in the day. And this is how one of the greatest, if you Alan Turing is on the top two, probably top three of, in my opinion, top three greatest scientists of the 20th century. But here is how such a great scientist is being treated by his own government, to whom he helped save his country. He was instrumental. Some might say he saved his country by or at least saved his country from prolonged huge pain, suffering and damage with his skills, in which he used to break the German Enigma code. This is why it's horrendous that he was treated by his government by this way. And this is often, when in science classes we talk about Einstein and Marie Curie, Nikola Tesla, Albert Einstein, Marie Curie, etc. Other fellows, Nikola Tesla and Thomas Edison and such, we hardly hear of Alan Turing, and he needs to be remembered. He, in 2 years, just over 2 years after his conviction, on June 8th, 1954, Turing's housekeeper found him dead on his bed in his home, having died the previous day. The coroner back then established the cause of death as being cyanide poisoning. He had an apple in his. He apparently had eaten an apple prior to going to bed, and then the apple that was found contained cyanide, and it was by that means Turing consumed the fatal dose of cyanide. The death at the time was ruled a suicide. But this has been contested, that he committed suicide, but it is, however, based on what I've read, I would lean towards the original ruling as the cause of the death of being a suicide, which is um, horrible to think that such a genius was convicted of such of enacting on his natural sexuality. Um, and then he not eventually he was then his ashes. He was cremated, and his ashes then scattered in the gardens of working crematorium, just like his father's ashes. In for his during his lifetime, he got a an award for Smith, something called Smith Prize from the University of Cambridge. And then, because the eventually, yes, and lifetime, during his lifetime, he was awarded he was given the title officer. Excuse me, I had to check. Officer of the Order of the British Empire, which is quite a significant award, shall we say. And mind you, he was just 34, I think, when he got this in 1940. I lost the date, but anyway, but he still got it. It's a big honor in the UK, as well as I understand it that these are also given to some foreigners as well, but primarily to the citizens of the Commonwealth. It wasn't until decades later that this horrible piece of legislation prohibiting homosexuality as a gross indecency was removed, and there was a petition in the 2009, to for the British government to apologize for Turing's prosecution as a homosexual. So, in Gordon Brown, who was Prime Minister at the time, released a statement in September 10th of 09, apologizing and describing Turing's treatment as appalling as follows, and I quote: "Thousands of people have come together to demand justice for Alan Turing, and recognition of the appalling way he was treated. While Turing was dealt with under the law of the time, and we can't put the clock back, his treatment was, of course, utterly unfair, and I am pleased to have the chance to say how deeply sorry I am, and we all are, for what happened to him." So, on behalf of the British government, all those who live freely thanks to Alan's work, I am very proud to say, we're sorry, you deserved much better. This is just of course, it's important. Of course, it's important that a government apologizes. And in 2016, the British government started the process of passing what came to be called Alan Turing Law, and it became law in 2017, which is to retroactively pardon men who were cautioned or convicted under the historical legislation that outlawed homosexual acts. And yes, by the way, this piece of legislation from 1881 was mainly used for to discriminate against homosexual men. Surprisingly, no problem with lesbians. Well, I don't know why. I just don't understand why. Eventually, as a part of the same process, Alan Turing was then given a posthumous royal pardon effective immediately by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, which is not every day that a monarch goes on to give a royal pardon to former gay convicts. The Queen officially then pronounced Turing pardoned in August 2014, and the Queen's action is only the fourth royal pardon granted since the conclusion of the Second World War. And pardons, I understand it, typically are granted only when the person is technically innocent, and the request has been made by the family, and then or other interested party, but neither of them applied to the case of Turing. Kataso is saying probably because something were not seen as a real threat. Oh yeah, gays weren't seen as a. I would say many people back then and now see gay people as a real threat. Believe me. But hey. And as I said, Alan Turing, women who love women. Yes, that is correct. Oh yeah, you're referring to what I said a bit earlier. Yes, in comparison to gay men. Yes. Yes, but the honors. He was honored both during his lifetime and posthumously. He, being appointed an officer of the Order of the British Empire, was in 1946, so 2 years after a year after the. Oops, my light is a bit wonky, so. Anyway, just shortly after the war, and then at the age of, that would make him 34 years old, and then he was then elected Fellow of the Royal Society in 1951. And he's been honored many ways. In, for example, actually March this year, the Bank of England unveiled the design for the new £50 note, which features Turing's portrait, and the note will be actually released in next month, June, the 23rd of June, which is Turing's birthday. Why is it then that we need to remember this man? Some may ask, why is it so important to make a live stream and remember from decades ago of a gay guy who was convicted of it and then eventually pardoned by the Queen? We need to remember this man because he was a genius. And why on an LGBT plus channel? Because he was gay. He was wrongfully convicted of a crime that wasn't a crime, that is not a crime. He dared to love. He dared to do such a thing as to love and have consensual. The sex was consensual between two consenting adults. He dared to love someone of the same sex. That is why we need to remember Alan Turing. Alan Matheson Turing. This man is a legend, and there is a piece of legislation that is named after him as a result of who he was, what he lived for, who he was. Several things, and there isn't just a piece of legislation that is named after him. There is in science there is a Turing test, which is basically to determine whether or not an intelligence is a human or a computer. There is Alan Turing Institute, Turing Switch, Turing Institute, Turing Lecture, Machine, Pattern, Degree, Completeness, and so forth and so forth. He has been given these posthumous tributes, not just the Bank of England's £50 note coming out next month, but about a lot more. And this is why this man is an important and essential part of LGBTQ+ history. He's a legend, and he deserves to be remembered. That is why I wanted to, in his honor, to make the first episode of History with Heidi about him. He's an interesting guy, as he has had a significant difference on this earth, on our modern society. Now, please do ask questions at this point. At this point of the stream, if you have any questions about this topic and something, any commentary, or if there's anything you want to comment, you ask me, and please ask those questions and comments in the chat while I'll be right back. Yes, hello. Let's have a bit water to drink, a bit more. So, these History with Heidi episodes will be typically a bit shorter. Like this one, I'll be wrapping up soon. These will be more of informative live streams with about history of LGBTQ plus history. However, if there's a bit broader topic, I might go and have a bit longer stream, especially if I have a guest with me on my quest in history. If you don't have any more questions, I will be going now. Please like and subscribe. It can be thumbs up or thumbs down, I don't care. The algorithm likes it anyway. Please leave a comment in the comment section below, and check the description box. There will be links, or there is already links. My playlists. There will be season 1, season 2 Monday news. There's the now discontinued Friday facts and the special files, and now there's a playlist that I created for these History with Heidi episodes, and these will be a regular thing every Friday, as I said previously, replacing Friday facts every Friday. And of course, you'll find my channel email address. You'll find my Discord servers, the Hades Corner, my channel server, and then LGBT plus safe space server, which is, as the name suggests, meant as to be a safe space for all LGBT plus people. My admins and moderators are absolute darlings. Myself and my admins and moderators are there to make both of these servers safe and warm environments for everyone to discuss all kinds of things. We have, for example, active discussion about the technology related to photography, and of course then the photographs are of course also posted there. If you do not mind, I will say goodbye for you tonight, right now, and I'll say goodbye to Stefan, and say goodbye to Bertil. Okay. Now, have a very lovely weekend. I hope you've had a wonderful week. Have a very nice weekend. And bye.